Guys, I'm here to talk to you about our Patreon. Patreon.com/shades-and-sketch. We've got all kind of great content for you there you won't find in normal episodes. You can join and support the show for as little as $1 a month. At $5, you unlock all kind of exclusive content like episode voting, Patreon-only episodes, and exclusive artwork. On to this week's episode.
Oh, hello. I'm Sketch.
And I'm Shades.
And this is Geeking Out with Shades and Sketch. Welcome back, longtime listeners. Every time you join us here in our GOCO, we are in a different corner of the Geeking Out multiverse.
Sketch, where's GOCO brought us this
We
this
are
week?
In a very friendly place. The people here are so friendly.
So nice.
Which is really why we're here.
Yes.
Just a little positivity.
Really the only reason.
We are just kind of hanging out, lounging, if you will. Fawcett City. Or
Philadelphia,
if you want to call it that. In the Booty Club Gentleman's Lounge.
Yeah. And everyone's just so nice.
So nice.
So nice.
Way too much glitter for my taste.
Yeah.
Not a fan of glitter.
No.
But
gets everywhere.
It gets everywhere.
It does.
So, guys, if we're hanging out in the Booty Club, that must mean we are talking about
Shazam
and Captain Marvel. This is our Captain Marvel double feature. Marvel movie and the DC movie of the same name, except not. So, does that mean, do we have a theme song this?
Oh, I think we do.
I think we do, too.
If we're talking Captain Marvel,
then we must... I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. There's a million toys of Toys R Us that I can play with.
Perfect. All right, Sketch.
Get him, Batman.
Can I just say, I love that. Spoilers, in case you can't tell, I'm already hardcore geeking out over Captain Marvel, DC's Captain Marvel.
DC Captain Marvel. Okay.
I just love that there's a universe in the DC universe in which Batman and Superman have been 100% merchandised to the nines.
Yes.
Backpacks and action figures.
Yeah.
I loved that. I think I get the biggest kick out of that.
I have something about that specifically. I want to talk about it, but it peppers into one.
Because they're not inspirational characters in this universe.
No.
At all.
No.
Why do children have action figures?
That's why I have.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Guys.
We will get there.
We will get there. But guys, if this is our Captain Marvel double feature, then that means there's going to be spoilers
for both
the Marvel Captain Marvel,
Captain Marvel everything,
and the DC Captain Marvel.
I'm sure we will get there.
We're gonna unpack the history.
There is a lot.
There's a lot of history. I'll tell you what, there will not be spoilers for those, so don't worry. No spoilers for Endgame, because as of recording,
we have not seen it yet.
We haven't seen it. We're hours away from seeing it.
Hours away.
So if we say anything about Endgame, you can rest assured it's fictitious.
Hey, Sketch,
or a really good guess.
Batfleck showing up in the second act, I did not see that coming.
And the after credit scene?
Oh, so good.
Oh, sweet sassy with Mickey Mouse being the mastermind behind it all.
Unbelievable. Oh boy. Okay.
Should we start with some history?
Wow. History. Do our personal history?
Yeah, let's do our personal
history. What was your personal history with
both of them?
Both of these characters?
Very little on both accounts.
Okay.
I say that a lot in a lot of these episodes.
Recently.
And that's okay. Especially because I really feel like I blossomed as a geek later in life, whereas you were rooted in it much earlier than I was. So we'll start with DC because it's the longest lasting one of mine. My first real brush with Captain Marvel in the DC universe was probably in Injustice. That was like the Captain Marvel I got to know the most. Spoilers for that game, didn't end well for him. And wow.
His head gets crushed by Superman?
No. Superman holds him up by the neck and heat visions through his head.
Yeah.
But you're seeing it from behind him. Yeah. And then the back of his hood starts to light on fire.
Spoilers
for Injustice.
That is actually not possible, however.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Superman would not be able to
penetrate Shazam's face because he has the fortitude of Atlas.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the strength of Hercules.
Yeah. We'll get into that.
We will. Yeah.
We will get into that. Other than that, I mean, I've seen him like in shows. Yeah. You know, I think he showed up in Young Justice. Actually, he brought up a good point in Young Justice.
Yes. Captain Marvel in Young Justice.
Yes.
Yes.
And I mean, he's been Captain Marvel in everything I've seen him in.
Still officially Captain Marvel.
Yes, except for this movie, which we will.
In 2011, DC officially changed his name to Shazam.
Really?
Yes.
We got a big question about that.
Yes, indeed.
Other than that, never read any of the comics. I was excited for this movie mostly because of the actor they got to play him, and just knowing what Shazam is. I was like, ooh, that's good casting. And
perfect casting.
We'll get into that, but I really think that held up my expectation for that. And that's it with him. With Captain Marvel in the Marvel Universe, I know even less. I've known of her existence. I've seen her cosplayed, and that's it. I knew nothing of her story. I knew nothing of her background, her powers.
I have seen people dress up as her.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's really it.
I love that.
So I went into that movie. I really went into both of these movies like really, really fresh without knowing their existing stories. And also I tried very hard and was pretty successful at avoiding any sort of online conversation or anything like that.
I saw both of these movies after their opening weekend and was just, thank you, Internet. Thank you, Internet, for not ruining these movies for me. So it was not a lot of spoilers out there. I was able to successfully avoid them.
I was able to navigate those dangerous waters.
That's rare in 2019.
It is. It is. What's your history?
My history with Captain Marvel Shazam goes back to my childhood. I somehow came into a number of Captain Marvel comics from the 80s or early 90s, I guess. Actually, it would probably have been the early 90s.
Okay.
Because Mary and Freddie were both in those, and DC didn't get the rights to them until 1991. So I guess early 90s.
All right.
So I was aware of the character and absolutely loved this concept because you can't be Superman. Let's be realistic. You can't be Batman, even though theoretically you could. But I think this is like the perfect incarnation of like fantasy, superhero, adolescence, childhood.
Yeah.
It perfectly captures all of those things.
It does.
Because at the heart of it, this whole genre is Captain Marvel is a metaphor for this whole genre, like that the childlike innocence could somehow be put into the body of just an invulnerable image of perfection.
Absolutely.
And do heroic things.
Absolutely.
So I always had a strong affinity for this character, and I don't know why, but just really liked his look.
Really?
Yeah.
That strikes me as unusual.
It was so... I don't know. It was like very kind of like 1930s pulp.
Yes.
And I think it perfectly...
No, it feels very much that. Has he always had the hood? Or is
the hood is...
I feel like the hood is a newer edition.
The hood is new. So his costume was kind of like the side button thing. It didn't have the boxing trunks, which all of the other heroes had. And he had the cape off the one shoulder.
One shoulder.
Yeah,
short
it was
cape.
just his look was unlike any other hero.
Yeah.
Even though he bears a striking similarity, I think, very purposefully to Superman.
Oh yeah, I've never been a fan of his look.
Of Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Never? Okay.
Never.
That's cool.
Still I'm not. Doesn't detract anything from me, but there's like nothing about his look that I'm into.
Cool.
But that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's absolutely fine.
Yeah. And I don't even know what it is about.
I don't know what it is either.
Yeah.
For you.
I think as a kid, maybe it was like easy to like recreate. I do somewhere like have a picture from like some Halloween, or I guess I was Captain Marvel. And I think maybe that was it, that it was easily replicable.
It is. Yeah.
Maybe that was it. I don't know. So, yeah, I've been aware of this character and a fan of this character for a long time.
Good.
Marvel's Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I think there was like an Iron Man cartoon in the mid 90s and an X-Men cartoon. I think Captain Marvel, we'll get into it, featured, maybe it was the Fantastic Four series actually, but I was aware of that character, thought he was stupid, still.
So he was a him.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Thought he was stupid, still think he's stupid. I think his powers are stupid.
Okay.
It's clearly a knockoff of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And was never a fan of the character.
Okay.
Ms. Marvel, on the other hand, I was aware of through the X-Men cartoon and the X-Men comics. That's how Rogue got her powers of flight and strength. By holding on to Ms. Marvel for too long. Her powers literally became infused, and parts of her personality became infused into Rogue as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And is this telling of Carol, right?
Carol Danvers.
Not to be confused with Cara Danvers.
Right.
Is that more of a Miss Marvel origin, or did they just give Carol Danvers, the guy, Captain Marvel's origin?
From what I can tell from this movie, and I haven't read any of any of the comics for 2012 forward where Carol has become Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay.
I haven't read any of those, but from near I can tell she has Hal Jordan's origin story.
Oh, okay. Very similar.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and I said
Quite possibly
I said that in a midstream when I first saw the movie.
The best Green Lantern movie. Yeah. So, in doing the history for this episode, my nerd rage was in full swing.
All right, so let's start unpacking the history.
Should we do scores first or history first?
No, do history first. Then we'll do the movie scores.
Okay. Bear with me, long-time listeners, because this is a bit of a rabbit hole.
They always do.
In the beginning. No. Okay. Captain Marvel, a.k.a. Shazam, first appeared in Whiz Comics #2, published by Fawcett Comics in 1939.
Wow.
Yeah, all the way back into the Golden Age. Created by artist C.C. Beck and writer Bill Parker, Captain Marvel was the best-selling series of the 1940s, even outselling Superman.
Awesome.
Yeah. To capitalize on the success, Fawcett expanded its stable of characters to include the Marvel family, Mary Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr., Broomfield and Freddie Freeman. And he was also, Captain Marvel was the first hero to be adapted into a film by Republic Pictures in 1941, Serialized Adventures of Captain Marvel.
Wow. I knew that he wasn't originally DC.
Yeah.
I knew
None of the characters were originally DC.
But I didn't know about the movie.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's cool.
In 1953, Fawcett ceased publishing, in part due to a lawsuit for copyright infringement from DC Comics, alleging that the Captain was a copy of Superman.
Okay.
Which is debatable. I think if the judge in that case had read an issue of Captain Marvel, Fawcett probably would have won.
Yeah. But they're probably just basing it on looks.
On image alone.
Like a lot of people do.
Yep. So superficial.
Yeah.
In 1972, they sold all character rights to DC, and since 1972, DC has marketed the character under the title Shazam due to a trademark conflict with Marvel Comics character Captain Marvel. And in 2011, DC officially renamed the character Shazam.
Okay.
This is where my nerd rage goes into full swing.
All right. Now are we doing the
Marvel
Okay,
Captain Marvel.
Marvel's Captain Marvel.
During the Captain Marvel hiatus from 1953 to 1972, Stan Lee's Marvel Comics applied for and gained the trademark rights to the name Captain Marvel.
Ooh, sneaky.
Very. Stan Lee's series debuted in 1967, and to keep the trademark, Marvel had to publish the title at least once every 2 years, leading to a number of one-shots and limited series.
Wow.
Yeah. This is getting really douchey.
Sneaky stuff.
Let's see, where are we? There have been 7 different versions of Captain Marvel. The first being Marvel, a member of the Kree Imperial Militia sent to observe Earth. Wearing of his superior's intent, he joins with a proto-version of the Avengers to defend Earth.
Okay.
There are 6 other forgettable incarnations of the character. One that kind of mirrors Firestorm's thing where two people
merge.
They have to trade places in order because one's trapped in the negative zone. It's just craziness. But they inhabit, like, the consciousness of Marvel escapes the negative zone and goes into another character, kind of trading on the saying Shazam and turning into a different...
Do you know what I think of every single time you say Marvel?
What?
Carvel.
Right?
And what is a Fudgy-Puss? Isn't Fudgy-Puss the whale or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carol Danvers, the 7th person to take the mantle of Captain Marvel.
Can I just ask, did Kara Danvers exist before Carol Danvers?
No, this is DC's kind of tit for tat
Okay.
feud with Marvel.
Fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carol Danvers debuted in 1968 as an officer in the USAF and colleague of Captain Marvel. She became the first Ms. Marvel after an explosion fused her DNA with Marvel's, giving her superhuman powers. In 2011, Carol officially took on the mantle of Captain Marvel, and much of her Ms. Marvel history was retconned.
Okay.
And
go ahead. This is therapy. Let it out.
It is. This is... nerd rage. Nerd rage. When you take into account, and I know this is in the wake of Stan Lee's passing, and everybody loves Stan Lee. I love Stan Lee.
I also love Stan Lee.
But when you consider that 60% of Marvel's stable of characters are just blatant ripoffs of DC characters, this is like the ultimate underhanded, like... bullshit D-bag move.
It's tough to defend this one.
Ever. Wow, Stan Lee, what the fuck?
I would really be interested. This is my first time learning this. This is all fresh to me. I can't find a way to defend that.
I can't either.
If a longtime listener can, please
write in. Because on the back end of that, when you take into account that Reed Richards is just a knockoff of Elongated Man. When you look at, Moon Knight compared to Batman, when you look at Sentry compared to Superman or Captain Marvel, like Marvel made a career, whether you love Marvel or not, whether you enjoy the stories or not, whether you are in Marvel camp or DC camp, objectively, Marvel made their mark by taking DC characters or Golden Age characters, changing their names, changing their origin stories, changing their design motif just enough. Oh, Reed Richards has dark hair instead of blonde. Made their mark by copying DC characters. And at this point, particularly the movie coming out, to not allow, even with like licensing rights, DC to use the name Captain Marvel is just ridiculous. And I recognize that Disney now owns Marvel, and that's not going to happen, but
to their credit,
unforgivable.
DC, based on what I saw in the movies, obviously unable to fight that.
Yes.
Had to roll over and take it, but then decided to poke fun of it and have fun with it.
Yes.
And I appreciate that.
I also appreciated it.
The way you describe it sounds to me like Marvel was like the kid on the bus who was like, "Can I see your homework?" And you were like, "Okay, but just change it enough so that it's not copying." And he barely does.
Yeah.
Except in this instance, permission was not really given. It was kind of taken.
To my knowledge, I may be wrong, longtime listeners, if you know, please write in. To my knowledge, DC has not gone after Marvel for infringement. And so it just feels so wrong. And Marvel's, for a long time, Marvel told much better stories than DC and had much more compelling art, and they were putting the work in, rightfully so. Marvel deserves everything that it's garnered in the 21st century, and Stan Lee's legacy will remain unmarred by this. It just seems an instance of hypocrisy.
Marvel does strike me as more business savvy than DC.
Sure.
And I think the success of the MCU, regardless of how you feel about the movies, I think just the sheer success knows that they know how to market and produce for their consumers. And knowing to swoop in and steal this name is also...
And
it's
literally
a business decision.
Stole it for about 15 years. Marvel published one-shots every 2 years.
Just to hold on
to the name. And a lot of those 6 characters were just marketing devices to continue to hold on to the trademark.
Yeah. It would be like if there was like a loophole or just something where like just for a day Iron Man, the licensing for Iron Man, and DC bought it and just once a year like put out a comic about a guy who presses laundry, and like just once a year that guy shows up.
Yeah.
So DC, if you're listening, and we know you are,
do it.
Look for that opportunity.
Be vigilant.
All's fair in love and comics.
Yes.
Should we dive into
the movies?
These movies
the movies. Okay, so Shazam went into development in 2009 Shazam went into development at New Line Cinemas in 2000 and sat in development hell until 2009 when it finally went into pre-production with director Peter Sagal and writer John August. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was attached to star as the villain Black Adam.
Yeah. I've seen that tossed around a lot, and that's a good fit.
It's a great fit. And interestingly enough, he was the first person cast in the DCEU.
Because it's just perfect.
And yet to appear in a film.
They should have, side note, when I would have geeked out so hard if when the wizard Shazam was explaining what had happened in the past and we knew it was the Black Adam, for those of us who knew it was Black Adam, if we had just like seen just a glimpse of the Rock. I would have geeked out so hard.
I need to see this movie again because I think they did.
Oh, really?
I think they did.
Okay.
Because he is still attached to star in a solo Black Adam movie.
I have heard that. Yeah.
And was also the executive producer on Shazam.
The Rock was?
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder I liked it so much.
I know, right?
Okay. All right. Continue on.
So in 2009, the 2009 vehicle fell apart and the project fell through. It was revived in 2014 with Johnson still attached to either play Black Adam or the adult version of Billy Batson. Until director Adam Sandberg. Which one's Lonely Island?
No, that's Adam.
Okay, Ryan Sandberg. Okay. There we go.
They brothers?
I don't know.
Let's deposit that now.
Sure. Ryan Sandberg was attached to direct and cast Zach Levi.
Okay.
Levi?
I think it's Levi.
I
think.
To
Zach, if you're listening, just write in.
Just text us.
We will gladly.
We got you, bro.
We'll gladly fix this in post. Post.
We don't edit anything.
No, we don't edit a darn thing.
It's wonderful.
That's why you love it, guys. We're raw.
We're just riffing here.
We're just raw.
And we got the movie that we now all know and love. Sketch, how much do you think Shazam cost to make?
I like how you covered your notes like I look. Okay.
You're getting good at this.
Say, but I'm not that good. I will say $32,000.
$32,000?
Yeah. I mean the bigger one.
Million.
Yeah. $32 million. Guys, you could tell.
So,
you could tell the where my finances are at.
An entry-level public school teacher from 2006 salary.
Yeah,
$32,000.
No, $32 million.
Okay, not a great guess on that one, Sketch. It cost $100 million to make.
Really?
Yes. How much do you think it's grossed as of its 3 weeks in the cinemas?
I still think it was a good guess that I made. I will say 150.
Good guess. I'm going to give it to you. 125.6 million domestic.
I was a lot closer.
327.1 million worldwide, so around 450 million.
Nice.
Total worldwide by the end of its third week.
And does Hollywood consider that a success?
No.
Ah, fuck Hollywood.
They really base it on the domestic numbers.
So greedy, Hollywood.
Yeah. So far, it's only grossed $27 million in profit.
If I grossed $27 million,
right?
I'd feel successful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Captain Marvel began development in 2013 and officially announced the movie in the slate of Phase 4 in 2014 as the first female-led superhero film.
Ever? Wow.
Oops.
I guess Halle Berry, don't write in.
I know,
for
right?
your Catwoman performance.
Yikes.
But Wonder Woman, obviously.
Kudos to Halle Berry. She accepted her Razzie in person.
She really did.
Yeah.
I have not seen that movie. I'd like to at some point.
I saw parts of it on TV once, and I don't think I need to watch any more of it.
Okay. All right.
But that would be a fun Patreon episode.
Yeah.
I'd do it.
Let's do it. It just refreshed my memory, though. No, Wonder Woman was our first episode.
Yes.
So that means Wonder Woman came out in 2017.
Yes, 2017.
So if I'm doing the math right, and obviously I'm very bad at math considering my estimations, but that was 2 years prior to this first ever female-led.
I'm just
movie.
shocked it took them. Did it come out in 2019 or did it come out in 2018? Captain Marvel came out in February, right? March.
So
March. So yeah. So
squarely in 2019.
I am just shocked that it took 6 years.
Yeah.
To get this movie from pre-production to release.
Yeah.
That seems
don't necessarily see 6 years of work there.
Yeah.
But, guys,
we'll talk about it.
We're going to unpack it.
Nicole Perlman and Megan LaFave were hired to write the screenplay as a team. Robertson Dwart took over scripting duties in 2017. Directors Bowden and Fleck, who did It's Kind of a Funny Story. I love that movie. I think I shared it with you. Zach Galifianakis and I can't think of the kid's name that's in it. He checks himself into a New York Bellevue mental hospital in New York.
I think you did share this with me.
I think I did.
Very vague reminiscences.
I love that movie. Bowden and Fleck directed that, and they made the decision to set the film in the 1990s, which we'll talk about.
Guys, we're gonna unpack it.
And released in 2019. Yep. International success. How much do you think Captain Marvel cost to make?
I would say it cost more than Shazam. I will say 175 million.
I think that's an incredibly low guess. I did some research here. I could not find a budget.
Okay.
I scoured the internet. Disney has not released the production budget. Yeah, I'm going to say this movie cost somewhere around $400 million to make.
Goodness.
On the Samuel L. Jackson de-aging alone.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of that movie.
He is in a lot of that movie.
And every moment he's on screen,
they're de-aging him.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say $400 million.
Okay. What has it made?
It made $405 million domestic.
Okay.
It has made $1.1 billion worldwide
Goodness
in
gracious.
9 weeks of release.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, that brings us, I think, now that you got your history lesson out of the way, longtime listeners. And wasn't it an interesting one this week? like legit, especially with the whole name fiasco. That is very interesting. We learned you something, guys.
I could write a book just on that one thing.
You should.
I am so nerd rage about it, and also in awe of the legacy of Billy Batts and Captain Marvel.
Yeah. You really should. That'd be very interesting.
I might do that.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to refer to the characters as Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, and Billy Batson, Captain Marvel, for the rest of this episode.
I'm going to call it Captain Marvel for the DC one.
Sure.
And I'm going to call it Cookie Puss for the other one. Because wasn't that another one of the cakes?
You might want to reconsider.
The Carvel. I swear there's a cake.
You might want to
Carvel
reconsider that name.
Called Cookie Puss.
And
I think it's an octopus made out of cookies.
I really think you should reconsider that name.
Longtime listeners, if there is a cake called Cookie Puss, please send one to me. They hold up really well in the U.S. Postal Service. Shades is currently looking up Cookie Puss. I can't wait to see what shows up.
Oh my God, it is in fact a Carvel cake.
Yeah.
Cookie Puss is an ice cream cake character created by Carvel in the 1970s. That is haunting.
Can I see it?
That is just terrifying.
That's a lot worse looking than I thought it was.
At least it is an actual thing. And
you really thought I just came up with Cookie Puss?
I thought I was going to regret typing Cookie Puss into Google.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and
you're guaranteed to get something.
The St. Patrick's Day version is particularly
show me that one too.
Ridiculous.
What is that like? Oh, Cookie Puss?
I just don't see...
Cookie-o Puss. It's Cookie-o Puss.
I just don't see an octopus.
Well, I think, I've talked about this before with my friends, I think what is so fantastic about, what is it, Tom Carvel, the guy who made these, is that it's like one mold, and then it's just different decorations throughout the year. Anyway, this is not the Cookie Puss episode.
This is not the Carvel episode.
It's time for the all-important Internet scores for these movies. So start with Captain Marvel, Marvel, because that came out first. Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
Yep.
IMDb, 7.1.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes, 78.
Wow.
Metacritic, 64.
Wow.
78% of Google reviewers liked this movie.
That's usually when you say, fuck you, Metacritic.
It's usually when I say, fuck you, Metacritic. But that is our second lowest Google review.
Wow.
78. I gave Captain Marvel a 70.
Okay. I gave Captain Marvel an 80.
Okay.
So I think
that's pretty typical.
We're bookends of the internet scores.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, now Shazam.
Shazam, aka Captain Marvel.
Yes.
IMDb, a 7.6.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 90%.
Wow.
Metacritic gave it a 71. Fuck you, Metacritic.
There it is.
Google, 92% of Google reviewers loved Shazam, and I gave Captain Marvel a 97.
Wow, that is very high.
Loved this
very
movie.
Good. I gave it a 90. So
all right,
I mean, I'm still up there. Anything for me above like an 88 is a great movie.
Yes.
So I gave it a 90.
I loved this movie.
All right.
It somehow escaped from the 90s and was still enjoyable.
Even though it wasn't the one of the two of them set in the 90s.
That movie 100% escaped the 90s. Yeah. Like you could totally see that movie existing in a Joel Schumacher Batman universe.
It tonally was exactly what the DCEU needs at this time. Yes.
Just give Sandberg, Wan, and Jenkins the keys to the DCEU, please.
And those are the three guys in Lonely Island?
No, that's the directors of Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam.
I see, guys, that's another thing I learned, that Lonely Island directed all three of those movies. That's crazy.
Their work ethic is just...
It's off the charts.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's start with raves. We like to start with the positive. Yes. Now, we didn't talk about writing these down, so we wrote them down in different ways. I have specific raves. You have more...
I have I'm all over the place.
Okay.
And I went back and forth between the two movies.
All right. Well, then can I start?
Yes. You give us a roadmap, and I'll pepper in my raves.
Sounds good.
Because I got raves for days.
I will start with Captain Marvel.
This is rare.
The Marvel. Captain Marvel. Yes, it is rare.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Cookie Puss. I said I was going to call that movie Cookie Puss. I'm going to just start with just like a very heartwarming, simple rave to start.
Sure.
I loved the two Stan Lee things in it. And I know that has nothing to do with the movie, really, but I liked the opening, you know, how it's usually all the Marvel characters.
So the thing you loved about most about the movie,
I'm not saying most. I'm just saying
your first rave is something that took place before
and during
the movie even started.
Because here's what I liked about the cameo, this cameo, which will be his last cameo, unless he's in Endgame.
I think there's one in Endgame.
But I know they've said they're not, but they can say whatever they want.
More. Let's be honest.
He was doing his script read for Mallrats.
Yes.
You know, which like chronologically lined up perfectly.
Made so much.
And also means it was the real world Stan Lee
and not the Watcher.
Yes, he wasn't this character that has been established as like
the Watcher.
The Watcher. That was legit Stan Lee.
Yes.
And I loved that.
Yes.
I loved that got to be his as of
so,
at the moment, his last cameo.
I will piggyback onto that. Mm-hmm. I loved that reference, particularly. Mallrats is my favorite Kevin Smith movie. Mm-hmm. And I love the Stan Lee cameo in that movie.
Yeah.
And I love that is what they were referencing specifically.
Yes.
Because you're absolutely right. That is the only Stan Lee cameo in which he plays himself.
Yes.
Stan Lee. Real world Stan Lee, which posits that these movies take place in the Kevin Smith universe.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So the View Askew universe and the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
one and the same,
are the same universe.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith, write in. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. Oh, Kevin Smith. We know you're a longtime listener.
Yes.
And we know you have
We know
thoughts.
you're a DC fanboy.
Yeah.
We know you're also a Marvel fanboy.
Yeah.
Will the Jay and Silent Bob reboot be officially part of the MCU?
Or is he going to tie them both together?
Or yeah.
The new most ambitious crossover in film history. Kevin Smith, I'm giving you a lofty task.
Yeah.
But I think you're up to it.
You're up to it.
All right, just because we have a lot to get through, I'm gonna go kind of quickly.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
Here's my next rave, and it might not be a rave for you because, like you said, it costs a lot budget-wise.
Sure.
But everything with Sam Jackson.
Nick Fury's backstory and Samuel L. Jackson.
I loved it.
Yes.
I loved learning about, he was just like a regular boots on the ground agent.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yes.
He's basically Murtaugh in Lethal Weapon.
Yes. And then
he becomes the world's savviest super spy
because
in the wake of this.
He's
faced blown.
Yes. He's faced with this impossible, improbable truth.
Right.
And it's like on his shoulders now.
Right.
Now he has to take this and run with it. And I loved it. And from start to finish, I 110% bought into the de-aging.
Yes.
It was flawless.
I hate this effect. I think in every movie that we have talked about it in or seen it in, I've said jarring. It looks terrible. It's jarring. I hate that they do it. Just cast a different actor.
But in this one...
Well, yeah. Apparently they've been working on it since 2000. Apparently they developed this technology for this very purpose.
Well, it paid off.
Finally.
He looked so effing believable.
Yeah. And now I just want sequels to every 90s Sam L. Jackson movie he's ever done.
A lot.
240 movies, I believe. Yeah.
He's got work ethic.
Have you ever heard him talking about this?
No.
He was so just stoned out of his mind from 1975 to like 1991 or like 1980 something that he just said yes to any project that was put in front of him, and he never read a script. He just got on. They were like, "This is your character," and he got on screen and basically just riffed.
And you know what? He fucking commits.
He does.
You know what I mean? Like,
he does.
He shows up on set.
Oh yeah,
and he commits.
Yep. Pulp Fiction, like that whole the Bible verse that's not real, that he just made up. That's not a real Bible verse. He just made it up.
It's amazing.
That's just Sam Jackson riffing.
And he's a fucking Jedi.
Yep.
And
that's post like.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
He campaigned hard to be Mace Windu.
If you look at.
Yeah, he commits to everything. Yes.
His catalog of the characters he's been.
Yeah.
He's been eaten by a fucking shark.
We are not gonna die. We are gonna pull together. Eaten.
Guys,
so he's in that movie
alert,
for like
or Deep
5
Blue
seconds.
Sea. Right? That was the name of that movie?
Deep Blue Sea.
Shark movie before the Meg. Do you have a rave that you would like to go into?
Well, I mean, you've touched on two of mine.
I'm good at touching.
Yeah, Sam Jackson. I'll just say I was so much more invested in his story
100%
than Carol's story, and I find that very problematic in this movie. Like, I didn't care about her. I wanted to care about her story because she is, quote, the mightiest Avenger of them all. I wanted to see that story of her, like, learning to use her powers and that process of her getting them.
Well, we're going to get there. We're going to unpack that.
But I was so much more captivated and into, and I will say this as well, Elise is a great sounding board, a great litmus test for how I feel about these movies. Mm-hmm. And we have very different tastes and interests, and we don't usually enjoy the same things. Mm-hmm. And she was also 100% vested in Nick Fury's story, as opposed to Carol Danvers. Yeah, she found Carol's story 100% like disinterested.
And guys, we're getting there.
There.
For me, I honestly think that I'm as high as I am at an 80 because of the Nick Fury story.
Yeah,
and I had no idea I was going to be getting that. And I was so pleased.
I thought we were going to get something similar to Clark Gregg Coulson.
Yes.
Like, 10 minutes.
Like a flash in the pan.
Yep.
And he was there, and it was fun, and it was great to see it.
Yep.
And I agree. That's what I thought I was going to get from Sam Jackson, too.
Yeah.
Especially considering all the de-aging that they had to do. But for there to have that much.
It was crazy.
It was
fantastic.
And it was worth it. Totally worth it.
100% worth it.
All right. I'll go through my raves, and then you could piggyback, and then you could say if you have any others.
Okay.
This is one we touched about a little bit in that midstream and earlier, that the way they kind of succinctly told the story of the Kree, like their civilization, their military, that's what I mean when I say it's what Green Lantern should have been.
Yep.
That's how they should have explained the Lantern Corps. And because it wasn't overdone, we weren't there terribly long. And I got enough to be invested enough in their story to get it.
Felt like we were there a lot longer than we actually were.
Yeah.
But not like I was bored.
Yeah,
I understood that society and everything.
They gave enough of it that you felt like confident in your understanding of it.
100% agree.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, now I can follow along with this story. So, I mean, that is specific. It would be interesting if I had not seen Green Lantern, if I couldn't compare it,
right?
If I'd still call it a rave.
It's a great Green Lantern movie.
It's a great Green Lantern movie. And then the flip of that, I did like, even though the writing was a little bit on the mall, I did like the twist, the motivation of the Skrull. How they weren't just terrorists. Yep, they were just trying to get their families. They were refugees.
Well, okay, so I'll throw my
ahead.
rave in here. Ben Mendelsohn's Talos.
Yeah.
I usually see these things immediately when they're introduced. What a turn. So the Skrull are always the big bad of the MCU. They're always hiding. They did the whole Secret War Skrull invasion in 2008 to 2010, where you learn that basically every character that you've been reading in the MCU was a Skrull. Yeah. Like everyone, including Ms. Marvel, was a Skrull.
Oh, boy.
That reveal was devastating when they kind of put that out there.
Yeah.
They retconned all of that in 2011. So the Skrull are always kind of menacing, and then there's Super Skrull, which is kind of like Marvel's version of Amazo.
Okay.
Like has all of the powers of all of the Marvel characters.
Yep.
And so that turn that the Skrull were not the villains, that they were refugees, I didn't see it coming. It was fantastic. And Ben Mendelsohn played it so well because what we've seen him in previously is Ready Player One. The minute he got on screen, I'm like, oh, I hate this D-bag. And he's playing the same character.
And Rogue One.
And Rogue One. Well, he played a different character.
But
his character...
The villain.
His character of the S.H.I.E.L.D. director... was very similar to his character in Ready Player One, and I was ready to hate him. Yeah. And this is the villain. And
very good casting.
It's great casting, great portrayal. And then the turn was so perfect and believable, and then you feel for him.
Yes.
And immediately want him to succeed.
Yes,
I did not see it
once we
coming.
had the turn.
Bravo.
Yeah, I did that part of it. I didn't see coming. The part that I did see was that Jude Law was going to end up being the main
immediately.
villain.
Yes.
I mean that writing was on the wall from the very beginning. The turn of the scroll, though, it was so powerful. Like it affected me almost immediately to the point where I was like, "Oh shit, I don't want him to die."
Yes.
Like immediately,
Yes.
I was worried he was going to die.
Yes.
Because I immediately became so invested in him. Yeah.
And I'm just going to put it out there now. I can't wait for him to be in Endgame.
The scroll?
Yes.
Okay.
Talos.
Okay.
And if he's not in Endgame,
Big rant.
big rant.
Okay.
That character is amazing.
You guys tune in to our Endgame episode, which, if everything goes well, would be the next episode after this one.
Supposed to be in Endgame.
Yeah.
And so if Talos is not in Endgame, I think that's a big missed opportunity.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We will find out literally in hours.
Yep.
Literally.
Yes.
That's why this episode can't go too long.
We gotta wrap this up.
Okay.
We are gonna miss our showing.
Can I get into rants of Captain Marvel before we do Shazam?
Sure.
Okay. I have 2 rants, and they're kind of related.
Okay. I have a lot of rants for this movie.
Hey, guys, before we move on, lift your jaws up off the floor. I know Shades just really shocked you with that one. I hate to say it, and people are going to tune out, and I'm going to get a lot of hate mail. Brie Larson. Big rant.
Number 1, Brie Larson. Big rant.
Yeah.
Do you want me to take this one? You're not used to getting the ire of the long.
No. Let me say my 2 issues with it, and then you can just go.
Sure.
You can go.
So, just to clarify, Brie Larson is both our biggest rant of Cookie Puss.
Of Cookie Puss, yes.
Okay.
She really brought down Cookie Puss.
She really did. It's such a solid cake.
It's a solid cake if you just get rid of her. Here's the thing. In this movie, she was like so flat.
Yes.
Except for the times she needed to be flat.
Yes.
And here's what I mean by that.
This is my exact rant.
Story-wise.
Yes.
Story-wise. Being this human that's been abducted from Earth, raised by an alien civilization, no idea what she is. When she's in space, when she's on Kree or whatever the name of the planet.
Right, yeah.
They're like, Carol, you're too emotional. Stop it. She's not.
She's not.
She's not emotional.
She's not emotional at all.
She's no more emotional than her teammates on this team.
Right.
When she's on Earth, it's, whoa, she's an alien. She's crazy. I don't believe this lady. Except she's not.
All over the place.
She's just like a human.
Right.
Like, to me, she's just a human.
But she's like ranting about aliens.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, she's a crazy human.
She's a crazy person.
But she's not alien.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
And then
she's wearing odd clothing. If she had landed in the 1980s, no one would have batted an eye.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. And then
it's just a tracksuit.
So that's my first rant with her was that the way she portrayed that aspect of her character, which I feel like according to this movie should have been core to that character, was totally off the mark.
Yep.
Then the second thing was after I saw the movie.
Yes.
Then I looked up, okay, what's this controversy that everyone's talking about, right? And there were some things that she said before this movie came out where she came out real confrontational.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
right?
yes. And there was the whole beef with Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah, which you told me a little bit about. That's the only I've heard. But, you know, she went on stage and literally said, like, I don't care what the 40-year-old white men think. This movie wasn't made for them.
Right.
But then I watched this movie and I go, this movie is 100% Marvel.
Yes.
Like, this did not feel different to me at all.
Yep. This was a typical Marvel, middle of the road.
Yes. And then
Marvel movie.
We always say a rant is what takes you out of the movie. So then I start grappling with like an identity crisis where I was like, this movie felt like it was exactly made for me.
Right.
I get that women and girls could obviously look up to Carol Danvers, but I don't get how men would be...
Sketch, allow me to quote something back to you that you say all the time.
Okay.
You can't just make a decision early on and then not do anything with it after that.
Yes. And that's what this was.
It's exactly what it was. And I will say,
Yeah, go ahead.
I will take it a step further and just say that taking the Ms. Marvel legacy away from Carol Danvers and making her Captain Marvel is the same thing. And I haven't read enough of the comics, but I'm basing this statement solely on the movies. Is it demeaning in 2019 for a character to be named Ms. Anything? Yes. It is somehow less than. I get that. We needed a name change. But I will take it a step further than that. She's the 7th incarnation of a throwaway character. That's not new. That's not original. That's not bold. That's not unique. That's not empowering.
Yeah.
There's something fundamentally off in the DNA of this character.
Yeah.
And that, more than anything, transferred into this movie.
Yeah.
There was just something off about this character. And I'll say my biggest rant, Brie Larson is never believable or relatable as any of her incarnations. Any of them. As the pre-accident fighter ace, as the Kree soldier, or the hero.
Yeah.
And like I said, a great litmus test for when I walk out of a movie.
Yeah.
If I'm completely off or if I'm on is
your wife.
Yeah. Elise's reaction. And she walked out of that movie and was like, what happened here?
Yeah.
What she was like, I didn't identify that as a woman. I didn't identify it as an entrepreneur. I didn't identify it as anything.
Well, I will.
And I don't want to put words in her mouth.
Right.
It was a much deeper conversation, but she walked out, spoiler, she walked out of Shazam and was like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like that was the movie she identified with.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to a lot of media in general right now of how people are identifying with experience over gender or ethnicity or orientation. It's life experience that people are identifying and want.
Yes. And it's root emotions.
Yes.
And emotional responses. A character doesn't have to go through the same exact shit that you did, but a character should feel the way you felt at some point in your life.
Or look like you, or even be the same gender identity of you, or binary, not binary, what do I want to say?
No idea. You're on your own.
Biological.
Oh, okay.
Gender or ethnicity or skin color or race or ideology or religious belief.
Yeah.
Like I really feel in terms of like taking in media and stories that is on the back burner to people in the 21st century at this point.
I will.
Maybe I'm completely wrong. Right in long time listeners.
This will be the last thing I say before we move on to Shazam, and then we'll save big questions for
I've
later.
got some more rants.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh boy, we do have a movie to make. The last thing I'll say about the whole Brie Larson thing, though, is that, and we talked about this a little bit with Doctor Who in this latest season of Doctor Who. I just don't want to see a woman on screen. All right, good night, guys. We'll see you next. No, here's the thing that I'm saying. The marketing
sketch. We have never had that conversation.
The marketing is irresponsible because the marketing to these things are pumping up the fact that like this is going to be so empowering. This is going to be a bold new direction. This is,
that's just what Marvel does now, and we fall for it every time.
Yeah, and so
can we just be honest and just for a minute here, sketch, and say that like Marvel hasn't put out something truly fundamentally mind-blowing in like 5 years?
Well, guys,
can we just be honest and say that?
A little plug for our Patreon, our May episode, that our Patreon exclusive May episode is going to be Shades' and I's ranking of all 22 MCU movies. And I think I haven't seen yours.
I haven't seen yours.
I can only speak from my point of view, but more than anything, I think you will see the date of production.
Yes. Is going to feature heavily.
And that's what I'm going to say. If you want to know more,
tune in.
Join
the Patreon.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
All right, go ahead. Do more rants, and then we got to move to Shazam.
Carol and Rambo's relationship.
Yeah.
If you want to show me a bold, brazen, strong female lead, don't set up a relationship like that. And they raise a child together and then leave it so ambiguous. They're friends or they're romantically interested in each other. something.
Yeah.
It was too ambiguous. And I get it takes place in the 90s and there's don't ask, don't tell, and they're fighter pilots and there's pressure and there's consequences, but they don't ever address it.
The interesting thing to me is that I honestly did not get any romantic notion.
I didn't either, but then like the relationship that she has with Rambo's daughter and she gives him a jacket.
Yes,
and
it's very motherly or older sister.
Pictures of Carol and the child than there are of Mary and the child.
They are a family unit.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, they absolutely are. This would be a good time then. I usually say this to the end, but can I put in my pitch, please?
Sure.
Pitch, please. Tell this story from Rambo's point of view.
Yes!
Tell the whole story from her point of view. You can see the struggles of them being female fighter pilots. Good, high five.
Yeah, that is perfect.
You go through the heartbreak of losing Carol, the determination to find the truth about her, and then when Carol finally shows back up, the struggle of recovering her human memories and learning about what makes her now Captain Marvel.
This person that you like either platonically or romantically raised a child with, who's been lost for how many years was she gone? I can't remember. Like six. Yeah.
6 years.
And now returns as like someone that you don't even know.
I think it would have been amazing to tell the whole story from her point of view.
That is a great pitch sketch. I want to see that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you can still bring in Sam Jackson. You know, you can still
absolutely.
You can really still tell this story, but just frame it from her point of view, and way to make it way more human.
And I understand that is a core tenet of the character in the MCU. Is she non-conforming? Is she LGBTQ? Is she not? That it's very ambiguous in the MCU, and so they retained that. But in terms of telling a story, I needed them to give me more.
Yeah.
I understood the connection. I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
I didn't believe the connection.
Like I said, it's that emotional attachment that you have to have in these movies.
And back to our first rant, there wasn't any.
Yeah.
Shall we?
We should. Let's move on
to Shazam.
Okay.
My biggest rave.
Yeah.
Can I start?
Please.
Zachary Levi.
Yeah. My biggest rave is also, and I just wrote down every single actor.
And my second rave is the cast.
Yeah.
The cast of this movie, but just you always believe that he is basically 15 years old at all times. He's pure of heart, but afraid. He's desperate to find his place in the world. You believe that he's a 15-year-old kid at all times.
Incredibly believe. You know how sometimes we've said, like with Steven Spielberg, that he doesn't know what the kids are like? You believe that Zach Levi gets kids,
by proxy, Sandberg gets kids, and
people involved in
the movie.
Yeah,
and his relationship with Jack Dylan Grazer, Freddie, was like too perfect. They had like too much chemistry.
Yeah.
Like a 30-year-old man should not relate to a 15-year-old kid that well.
I believe that in between takes they were in the trailer just playing PS4.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like perfect. I said, that's the very first thing. And I'll just broaden it. I thought the guy who played the villain was really great.
Mark Strong, who also played the villain in Kick-Ass.
Oh, that's what he was familiar to me from. Okay.
Mark Strong. We've seen him in a lot of things. We talked about him, I think, in a midstream at some point.
I think he was totally threatening.
Yep.
And just enough off that you were really frightened of him.
Perfect villain.
But enough together that he was a real threat. I thought the two parents, the foster parents.
Yes.
I 100% believe their motivation and their love for these kids.
My note, Victor and Rosa, please give me a spin-off movie of their characters.
I would watch just like a family drama show, like on TV, of just that family.
Just the kids.
It just you can leave out the whole magic and superhero. I want to watch that family.
Yes. Give me a like NBC-esque This Is Us spin-off show of the foster family.
In 2 seconds, I was 100% invested in Mary going to college.
Yes. Okay. So, where is
that just summed up the family relationship.
Where did I write? Grace Fulton as Mary. I 100% believed and felt for her, and that whole grief. She's like experiencing grief over having to leave this family and go to college. Like all of her dreams have come true, but she just wants to stay with her family.
Yep. A very similar, a parallel journey to Billy.
Exactly. Yep. And believed it, and it was quick. There wasn't a lot there.
No, we didn't
spend a lot of time with any of those characters, but the time we spent with them was meaningful and believable and relatable.
The dad, I really like the dad too. You know that guy's on Walking Dead.
Cooper Andrews.
Did you stop Walking Dead before he came in on Walking Dead?
I did not know him from Walking Dead.
I liked him on Walking Dead. I also no longer watch Walking Dead anymore. But
this season he was lost a lot of viewers.
He was really great on it.
This is not the Walking Dead episode.
No, we already did that once. So listen, and I'll just leave. And
I'll also say Marta Milan as Rosa was fantastic.
Sure, yeah. She was I believe the family
figure.
So great. And the kids, like the kid actors were
oh my God.
Great.
And what was it Grace? Was she the young sister? Was her name?
I don't remember if that was her name, but it might have been.
Her superhero version was amazing.
She reminded me of Excess in Flash.
Yes.
Very much.
I mean, those actors, all of those actors must have had so much fun, because the only way to capture the adult version, like the superhero version, was for those actors to spend just time with those kids.
Yes.
That's it. That's the only way you could do it.
Yeah.
And it was believable and it was perfect.
You know, a lot of people, and I've been guilty of this before too, we'll just say that, like, well, it's a child actor. What do you expect? And
they were fantastic.
I think this goes to show that A, there are fantastic child actors.
Yes.
And B, sometimes what it just really takes is an adult staff that knows how to work with child actors and talk to child actors.
And let's just, stop and raise the point for a second, because I think what we're talking about is the child actors in the Goonies versus the child actor. Like, if you retell the Goonies with these actors and this team,
you could have a really compelling story.
Just a really enjoyable, compelling movie.
Yep.
And I think you're right. I think it comes down to people who know how to work with and steer and guide young actors.
It takes a different kind of person to work with kids in any capacity, because you have the type of person who will just make the expectations they would of an adult.
Right.
And you have the type of person that will just write off a child.
Just give Corey Feldman some more cocaine and send him on set.
But it takes the kind of person that understands a child. Isn't a child, but understands a child. And this movie, from every aspect, from directing to acting to writing, understands the child. And you need that to make a Shazam movie.
And yes, you do. And I think the two scenes that capitalized on that perfectly were when they went into the Gentleman's Club.
Yes, where we are right now.
The
Booty Club.
And the takeaway is they're so nice. They're so friendly. And then when
they go back to the Booty Club, and they're like, this was the first place you thought
of? When they stop the robbery and he buys the beer.
Yes.
And they both spit it out.
Drink it and spit it out immediately.
And then go buy as much junk food as they can possibly eat. Because that's, at truth, if you take away all of the posturing of a teenager, what do teenagers want? They want acceptance, and they want to avoid all of the adult responsibilities that are rapidly imminent.
Yes.
And if you did have the choice as a kid and you could like binge on something, you would binge on, I think, a teenager would truly, if given the option, would binge on all of the junk food they could possibly eat over booze.
Yeah.
Write in if I'm wrong, long-time listeners. But I think those two scenes really captured the understanding.
I want to talk about one more actor, but I'm going to use it in my next rant. Rave. Can I say the next rave I want to say?
Sure. Can I? Are you going to do it right now?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
This movie was fucking funny.
Yes.
This movie was so funny.
It was. Yeah.
This movie, perfect. Like Marvel movies and even the other DC movies.
Marvel movies are like sarcastic, like.
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Those
and the other DC movies,
the smart talking, sarcastic, wise ass funny
action movies, and they sprinkle in these comedic moments.
Right. This was a
funny comedy movie with sprinkled in action moments.
Yes.
And so it was written like comedy was written.
Yes.
And comedy is an art just as much as anything else. And yeah, sometimes you can fall into it and sometimes you could count on improvisation. But like this movie was obviously written from a comedy standpoint.
Yes.
So like the callbacks, like to the Booty Club, or like to the like the PTSD Santa Claus that just it was traumatized throughout the entire movie. I mean, those are written from someone who understands writing comedy.
Writing comedy, yes.
And then you can't talk about this movie being funny without talking about Freddie.
Yeah.
Freddie
Freeman.
fucking nailed it.
Yes, he did.
He was so good in this movie. He was everything landed for me with him.
Yep. There were no misbeats. That actor, Jack Grazer, and the character, just gold. So rare, and so enjoyable, and just legitimately funny.
Yes.
And written by someone who understands comedy, and understands geeks.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, because he was the fact that he's testing out all the powers on him. Oh my god! Okay, wait. We don't know if the suit's bulletproof or you're bulletproof. Shoot him in the face. Yeah. Shoot me in the face, and they just unload a full clip into his face.
Oh my god!
And then Freddy starts gathering all the bullets to sell.
Lights him on fire in a box.
Yeah, the teleportation test. Actually secret fireproof test.
Oh my god! And then what was the one at the end? The
talking to fish, aquatic telepathy, but it was actually.
What would you even do with it? Oh, never mind.
Yeah. That was. I mean, he was great. I'm gonna come back to Freddy too.
So good.
in a rant, and it's not a rant against Freddy. It's using him as an example of why.
Sure. I just want to talk about Mark Strong's Savannah.
Oh yeah, that's Savannah. My next one too.
And I was so upset when they pulled Black Adam from the movie.
Yeah.
But I 100% understand why they did it now. It would not have been funny.
Yeah.
It would have been a slugfest movie.
Yes.
Which still could have been good, but I just want to say, like, he was a small villain. He didn't turn into a monster, but he did.
Well, yes,
but he didn't turn into visually a monster.
Yep.
He was a hurt child that turned into a broken man.
That's my favorite part.
Great storytelling.
Yes.
It's just good storytelling, and he's 100% a monster because you 100% believe that he is going to kill those kids.
Oh yeah, when he throws his brother out the window.
Period. End of story.
I loved that. I absolutely loved that. There was no. Getting to that point, there was no grandeur. There was no monologuing. It was just, oh, there you are, yank, smash out
through
the
window.
I loved that. And
just cold-blooded murder.
We're talking about writers who understand children because it shows he was completely developed as a child. He was broken as a child. He was given this impossible dream of, becoming worthy.
Yes.
And that drove him to this point. And that is 100% where people's personalities come from, where people's defects and strengths come from. And I agree with you. This movie rose an even higher level because it wasn't Black Adam. It was Savannah. Black Adam is Shazam's, Captain Marvel's, negative. But Savannah is Billy Batson's negative.
Yes.
And that is what makes it so strong.
Yes. Yep, they are polar. Billy is pure of heart. He is good. He wants to do the right thing.
He's pure of heart, and we're getting to my next. But he's not. He's
not perfect.
He's not perfect. He's not without flaws.
Yes,
and he does things that are wrong. And it's great that he's given this power just like as a last ditch effort.
Yes,
it has to go to somebody. It goes to Billy, and he has to choose to use it well.
Right,
and that's his progression in this movie. One of his two progressions.
But I think they didn't touch on it enough, and it probably would have gotten too sappy. But being pure of heart and being good doesn't necessarily always mean following the rules.
Oh yeah,
that's like a big breakdown of a disconnect of like in the hierarchy of motivation. It's like altruism is the top.
Yeah,
most people never get past fear of reprisal.
Yeah.
And that's where Savannah's stuck.
Yeah.
Like I'll get in trouble if I do if I don't do this. But Billy is actually altruistic. He does some questionable things. Yeah. He fights, he steals, he will punk the police.
Yeah.
But his motivations are always altruistic.
Right.
And that was clear, but it wasn't It wasn't like hand-fisty, like sappy kind of thing.
And
like when he beats the shit out of those two brothers for Freddy.
Yes.
Like, okay, you're going to jail, Billy. Like, you just assaulted someone.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But good on you. Good on you for standing up for your brother.
What do you think he did to the pawn shop owner?
I don't know.
Who was no one to be seen.
Just gone.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, boy, there's a big
know.
question. This is getting dark.
No, I think he probably like I don't know what he did to him.
Told him he'd watch the store and go get a coffee.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I'll go go grab some breakfast. I'll watch the store.
That was a perfect introduction to that character.
Yes.
Actually, to both Savannah and Billy, they both got perfect introductions. I understood everything I needed to about their character in those introductions.
Strong agree. Strong agree.
All right, one last rave I'll say.
Great.
And then we got to get going.
I'm out of raves.
Okay. The last one I'll say, which you just touched upon, in the message of family in this movie was so effing on point.
It was.
Family isn't perfect. Family's where you find it. I mean,
family is where you find it.
The stuff with Billy's biological mom, when he goes there and she says, "No, I left you on purpose."
Yep.
And
that was heartbreaking.
And then take it a step further. Now's not a good time for me to take you back, but hey, I'm glad you're okay.
You're okay, right? You look okay.
That's
like, no, I am most definitely not okay.
That's shitty. That's horrible. You might think like that's too dark for a movie. That's 100% real life.
Real life.
Yep. And it's way too often that's in real life. And that is something uncomfortable that people don't want to think about who aren't experiencing it. And this movie just puts it there to be like, no, you need to acknowledge this, because one of Billy's greatest strengths is that he's going to overcome this.
Yes, his resilience.
His mom's not going to open back with open arms and everything's going to be great and now he's going to be a hero. No, he's going to rise despite this shitty situation.
Exhibit A.
Yeah.
That little compass.
Yeah.
He managed to hold on to it all those years.
Yes.
Exhibit B. He gives it to the mother.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll help you.
And the mom's like, what is this?
What the fuck is this?
And it just that one line just shows you how little she cared about him.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, but so believable. Like, unbelievable. I know what you mean.
But I know this exists and is all too common of a problem.
And so the fact that the movie does that to then come back, like when Billy at the end has the staff and says to the kids, "Hands in."
Yeah,
he's never participated in the family. We'll call it grace, for lack of a better word. And but it's there. He's stuck with it, and now he's committed. Hands in. And at the end when he says it, Billy. No. That's the thing I say to
It was perfect.
I mean, I'm even right now, I'm getting emotional just recalling it. Captain Marvel's Cookie Puss had nothing close to that level of emotional investment.
Nothing.
So that brings us to rants.
Yeah, well, I'll just piggyback.
I thought you
I'll
had
just
no more
add to that a little bit and just think the idea of family is where you find it.
Yeah.
So never addressed in film, really.
Oh yeah,
in meaningful. And when it is, it's like it's too Hallmark.
Mm-hmm. I wrote that down. Hollywood really romanticizes familiar relationships.
Yes,
and familiar relationships are tough and rough and jagged around the edges.
Oh my god, they are. Oof. They really. It's a great description. Can we put that on a T-shirt?
Sure.
A bumper sticker. Sure. I need to put that on my car right now. Just gotta put that on the back of the GOCO.
Yeah.
For all time. But yeah, the idea of family is where you find it, and it was perfect. The portrayal of the foster system is always a negative.
Yes,
and always is the foster system problematic? Absolutely, but we never glorify like foster families and like the people who do want to genuinely help and provide stability. And was their stability perfect? That house was a fucking shithole.
Yeah, I got a big question about that.
You bet. Like, I hope for more situations like this and more people like Rosa and Victor. I question the social workers' work ethic for placing yet another child in that home.
Well, the social worker did say, like, listen, no one else really wants you because of his his record.
There are holes in the walls and trash on
Yes.
it is. I feel like DHS or
DFC? What
yeah,
do they call it?
family, children and family
DCF.
service, DCF would show up and remove all of those children from that premises.
But you know what? You stay for a couple minutes, you see the house is full of love and mutual respect.
So I want more stories like that.
Agree.
That was a great, big rave.
Big rave. And there are raves for days, but we got to move on.
We got to move on.
Do you have any rants for Shazam? I mean, you have a very small margin to give some rants.
I have a very small margin. My only Shazam rant was Santa.
Oh, I love Santa.
I loved him. I actually have two.
Is anyone surprised?
I have two. Sorry. So Santa. Just there were small children in this. So it was Elise and I, and then this family who had their kids out way too late. We saw it at 10 o'clock show.
Yeah.
And then they continued to. It's irrelevant. But so there were small children, and why is Santa? Why what broke these kids? And I think in that moment had some kind of existential crisis about Santa.
That's too bad.
It is. So I was by the end, and particularly at the end when Santa just loses his
Drops the
mind,
F-bomb?
repeatedly, that
it.
was problematic for those kids. And so in a movie about adolescence and childhood, for a film that seemed to understand children so well, question that decision. He was so fun.
He was great.
He was great.
I think it was great comedy writing. I think this movie was definitely aimed at an audience other than us.
Yes.
To a group of kids who are at the age to accept that already.
It was a movie made for basically 15-year-olds.
Yes, the Billy Batsons.
Yes.
So I put that a little bit on the parents.
100%.
But
those parents were making some questionable decisions.
I get where you're coming from.
And my real rant was no Black Adam. And I think the movie was better because of it, but I just really give me a post-credit scene with The Rock as Black Adam.
Yeah.
Or all I need is a guy who says Shazam and turns into The Rock.
Yeah.
Black Adam. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
Set it up.
Yeah.
He doesn't ever have to fight Billy. We can get more sequels in this tone.
Yeah.
The DC EU is vast and complicated.
Yes,
there's plenty of room for a dark Black Adam movie out there. But just give it. I've known about it for a decade.
Yeah.
They announced this in 2009.
Yeah.
Give me something
And
more than just a yellow outline.
Because you brought up
3% rant.
Because you brought up the DCEU, I will say that I was not a fan of Superman.
Superman,
at the end.
not Henry Cavill Superman.
Not Henry Cavill Superman, but the movie kept such a perfect distance from the DCEU
and then
throughout, to the point where
when did he meet
exactly
Superman? When did that happen?
Until that point, you could
what does Superman call him?
Argue that they just live in our world.
Yes.
If Freddy didn't have with the stuff he had, obviously he could have been scammed online.
It's a replica of the Batarang. It was a fucking awesome replica of the Batarang. When he Batarang Savannah, this movie was awesome.
If they had,
that's a big rave.
I still love this movie, but if you had made the little decision, because haven't they said this is the last one in the current DCEU and then they're going to retweak everything,
retweak a lot of stuff.
Have this movie not take place in the DCEU, but it takes place in a world that has the movie universe, and so these kids are geeking out over that.
This is the Teen Titans Go universe.
Yes, like that.
Where all of the heroes get to be in their own movies.
Yes,
if they're
and then that makes sense also with the merchandising and all this stuff.
Sure.
The other rant,
especially if you couldn't get Henry Cavill to do it.
Yes, take it out.
Just take it out.
Just take it out. It was great enough as it was before he walked in.
Yep.
The other thing I will say, which is minor, but when you put it in comparison to Freddy, I have to say it. Zach was great, absolutely great at a believable 15-year-old.
Agree.
I didn't always 100% believe he was Billy Batson. the two characters.
Yes, I will agree with
in
that.
a Venn diagram, that middle part would have been very, very little.
Very small.
I either needed a scene where Zach was portraying Shazam, but you could see the vulnerability and kind of the loneliness.
Yeah, Billy.
And I needed a scene where Billy was letting his guard down and being light and jovial.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But here's where it stands out to me.
Zach,
yeah,
I don't have the captain.
Yes,
like the adult form was a little too
Captain Sparklefingers.
Captain Sparklefingers. Yeah. Yes, he was a little too much of a rabble rouser.
Yeah.
He was too much of a practical joker.
Yeah, where we didn't really see Billy do that.
Billy never did those things, and maybe so that image is supposed to be like the image of perfection, the best version.
Yes, the best version of him.
Of him. 15-year-old Billy was a better person than. I think that was some of like the growth.
No, I agree with you.
But I agree, they did not gel
where you see that the most is Freddy.
Yeah.
Because Freddy interacted with both Billy and Captain Sparklefingers, and I always believed Freddy was talking to the same person.
Yes.
I always believed.
And Freddy liked Billy better than he liked Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Oh, that scene where he's like, "You're just jealous." Yeah, of course I am.
Yes.
Yes.
Duh.
Yeah.
I walk with a crutch. Of course I'm jealous.
I know what you're thinking. Crippling a foster kid? How'd I get so lucky?
Yeah.
Yeah. Freddy was great. But so that's what I'm saying. When you see Freddy interact with both Billy and...
You always believe he's talking to the same person.
You always believe he's talking to the same person. If you didn't have Freddy, I don't know how believable
I agree, and that's part of my Freddy rave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said I wanted to bring Freddy back later.
Yep. Do you have any BQs?
I got some BQs for both of them.
You want to start with Cookie Puss?
Yeah, let's start with Cookie Puss.
Okay, sure.
Cookie Puss. All right.
Guys, it's a real cake. Look it up. And I think an apt description because it looks like a terrible cake.
Could
or at least a subpar cake,
ice cream company make a cake these days named Cookie Puss?
I submit not.
That's my first big question. All right, here's my next big question. In Cookie Puss, do aliens just not have perseverance? Because that's the whole thing. Like, Carol's big moment is that she gets back up. Do aliens just not get back up?
They just give up.
Like, I get it. We're doing this trope where humans and Earth are garbage.
Yes.
I mean, it's the acceptable...
We're garbage, but we're resilient.
It's the acceptable racism in the MCU that, everyone just shits on Earth.
Humans in the MCU are basically Gotham in the DCU.
Yes. And, yes, this is why we don't talk about her. And the one thing that she did to make her human was she got back up and kept trying. That deposits that aliens don't do that. They're one and done.
The rest of the universe is absolutely wonderful, but everybody gives up immediately.
Yeah, just gone.
Yep.
Well, maybe it's because they're so much better than us. They never even have to try a second time. They just do the first time.
That is that's it right there.
God damn it.
Okay.
Hey, Thanos never gave up.
Maybe that's why everybody hates him. He's too human.
Thanos and Carol Danvers have a lot in common. Apparently, they don't let anything get in their way.
Oh my goodness! What the fuck is the Flurkin?
Goose the Flurkin?
Yeah. What is Goose? What is the Flurkin?
An alien species that has an infinite cavity in its
right. Okay.
That's my best guess.
Is it just, is it like a mystical being or is it just an alien?
No, I would say it's just an alien.
And it has a black hole in its stomach.
Yeah.
Okay. Follow-up question. Mm-hmm. If Fury had the Flurkin the whole time, why didn't he just use it to eat Loki in the Avengers?
Yeah.
Or the Tesseract?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to bring that up later, but yeah, I agree.
Follow-up. Okay, no, I'll save that one. So why didn't he use the Flurkin to just eat Loki?
He got really shy after he scratched out his eye. He after then, because he never again says he's a cat person.
No. Oh. But Goose is still walking around his office.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, and he burps up the Tesseract.
Yeah, but I mean, in previous movies where we've seen Fury, has there been Goose in the background?
No.
Oh, okay.
So that's my question. That's a big plot because the end of Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Well,
Goose takes place immediately before Avengers starts.
I agree.
So why didn't he just like grab Goose and have him eat Loki?
Yeah, I agree.
And
Well,
instead,
that's the problem with
he just like shoots at Loki with a
gun.
pistol.
Yeah, that's the problem with these movies, these backward design movies, is that they introduce these mega big cards that then you question, well, how come you didn't blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And so many movies fall into that.
So I find that really problematic.
But with Marvel really puffing out its chest on their interconnectivity,
yes,
that's a tough one.
It is.
But it does bring me to my next question.
Great.
So I guess Captain America is not the first Avenger, right?
Chronologically, he's the first Avenger.
But was he considered an Avenger in World War II, or once he was thought out by Nick Fury?
Once he was sought out by Nick Fury, ergo not making him the first Avenger.
That's what I'm saying. And then...
so Captain America is not the first Avenger.
And wasn't the Tesseract on Earth in World War II? Because isn't that...
Yes,
what
that is
Red
what
Skull
Red
has
Skull is using.
or is using. So are we saying that Captain Marvel she came to Earth because the Tesseract was there? She knew about it? Because at the end of Captain Marvel, the Tesseract falls through the plane into the northern Atlantic.
Yes.
So she must come to Earth after World War II, but before the 90s.
Yes.
To recover the Tesseract and work on her.
So Howard Stark found the Tesseract at the end of
one of them,
Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
They don't find the captain,
but they don't find
until the. I guess in the week between Iron Man and Avengers.
Yeah, Nick Fury's busy week.
So they've had the Tesseract all that time.
Okay, and then somehow
Marvel's been working on it.
Okay.
And been working with it. So yes, I agree with you.
You put it together for me.
Marvel came to Earth because of the Tesseract.
Okay.
Because they're using the Tesseract. I posit that Quinjets somehow use Tesseract energy.
Oh, I agree. I would think
because that's the engine she's been working on.
I would think that any of the fantastical technological elements of the MCU are either from Howard Stark or
a combination of those things.
Or Tesseract. Like depending on when they were made.
Agree.
Timeline-wise.
Okay.
I'm out of big questions for Captain Marvel.
I have one more.
Okay.
An alien invasion in Avengers wasn't enough of an emergency to call Carol?
No.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And if Captain Marvel's been in development since 2013?
Yeah. Then a lot of stuff has happened.
But what I'm saying is they needed to address that much earlier because Avengers came out 2013?
I think 2012.
2012. So even okay, but still, an alien invasion, a piece of Earth levitating and dropping in Sokovia is not enough of an emergency to call Captain Marvel.
I know you didn't see it, but Thor: Dark World also had an alien invasion.
Did not see Thor: Dark World.
So there have been other threats.
Still not my least favorite Marvel movie.
Interesting. So. Yeah, and again, it's this backward design problem.
Yeah, we need to stop doing prequels at this point. It's getting too murky.
Yeah. No, I agree. But maybe it's just for whatever reason. Oh, there's a meme. Maybe I'll post it on the Facebook. And it's what's her name and Nick Fury disintegrating into dust at the end of
Maria Hill.
Yeah, and he's hitting the beeper to call it Captain America. And she's
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. You've had this the whole time. Why haven't you used it before? And it like flashes back to the aliens and the other, like a couple other things. And then he goes, "Oh, this is the biggest threat ever." And as he disintegrates, a newspaper falls open to an article that says Wonder Woman crushes it in the box office.
Yeah. So, my final thought on Captain Marvel is Wonder Woman beat them to the punch.
Yep.
And I think even as problematic as Captain Marvel is, I think it's a very problematic movie, would have been better received in a pre-Wonder Woman world.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you can't tout yourself as being bold and new and inventive when you're not. But hey, that's Captain Marvel.
But then also not deliver.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the other thing. They didn't deliver.
In the myriad of ways they did not deliver.
That's the difference between Shazam and Captain Marvel. The marketing of Captain Marvel promised
Right.
something, it didn't deliver. And Shazam's marketing, in my opinion, Shazam's marketing was weak because before I saw Shazam,
it is a typical Warner Brothers DC terrible marketing campaign.
Before I saw Shazam, I had very little interest in it, other than the fact that Zach Levi was in it, and it's another DC movie.
Right.
Then I saw it, and I was like, "Fuck, this marketing failed this movie."
Yes.
Because
you
then
have failed this movie.
Because then this movie comes in and it smacks you with this heavy message.
Right.
Whereas Captain Marvel says come to this movie. There's going to be this great message.
Well, I mean, that's the big difference between these two franchises at this point. And I even wonder if part of it is Warner Brothers doesn't need to spend the money on marketing because they own so much of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
And just the residuals of those movies, they don't have to spend money on marketing for the company to make money. You know what I mean?
If you work for Warner Brothers, right into the show.
The DC universe, Warner Brothers in general, just seems to have a terrible marketing strategy at this point.
I would agree. And I've never noticed it more than I did with Shazam.
Yeah. Strong agree.
Biggest difference between what I was marketed and what I got.
Yeah.
In the DC universe.
It's like the Carvel Cookie Puss cake.
Yeah. Well, guys, this is the...
You hear Cookie Puss, and then you see the cake, and you just... Where's the octopus?
Yes.
Where is it?
Yeah.
This looks like... This is a misshapen clown.
It looks like a clown. Yeah, it looks like a clown.
It's a misshapen clown.
I almost made a joke, but it would have been very vulgar, and I didn't do it.
Don't do it.
I did, guys.
We're
for you,
already...
I didn't do it.
Thank you.
Can I move to a Shazam big question?
Oh, yes. Let's do that. We got to wrap this up.
We do.
We got a movie to make.
What do the foster parents do for a living that they can afford 6 children with iPhones?
Oh, my God.
But to be fair, their house is huge, though. I mean, their house is big.
They are clearly crack dealers. That is it. And that is a crack house if I've ever seen one. Guys, I lived in Worcester for close to a decade.
Yeah.
That is a crack house.
Their van is crappy, so they save there, but 6 iPhones, and they must have iPhones too. 8 iPhones.
The data plan alone, is
bananas.
Putting them in the poorhouse.
Yeah. It's
a great BQ.
That's a throwaway one, but here's
they are crack dealers.
That makes me sad.
Me too.
Here's my real question: can we somehow explain Shazam's powers? Because I know the name Shazam is the first letter of the 6 heroes. Yes. You could, if you want to look it up, you could check me on this. I think I know it. It is. Do you have it up? Almost. Guys, he almost has it up.
There we go. So,
all right.
So Shazam is an acronym.
Okay, here's what I think it is.
Yes.
Ready? Solomon.
But what is it specifically? What does he get from those people? Do you want me to help you?
No, I know what he gets from them, but I want to talk about these heroes.
Okay, so yes.
So it's Solomon.
Yes, correct.
It is Hercules.
Correct.
It is Atlas.
Correct.
It is Zeus.
Correct.
It is Achilles.
Correct.
And it is Mercury. No. Yes.
100% correct.
Okay. So some of those are Greek gods, which...
Some of those are... one's a biblical figure.
Greek myths.
Yes.
But in Wonder Woman, we've established that the gods are real. So I don't know. I'm just confused where these names came from, or do you think this is just let's make a word and then assign heroes to it? Writing wise, way back in the day when they came up with this idea. Because I get it. He gets fortitude, and he gets strength and speed and the lightning powers. And they all come from a different mythical hero of past, or I guess actual hero of past.
So there are actually, each person who each Shazam is an acronym for different deities.
Oh, interesting.
So Billy Batson has Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury.
Oh, okay.
That's Captain Marvel. So
those are the wizards.
Those are the elders.
So the other wizards that were there that weren't there in the movie, they had already gone. They would have had different names. They wouldn't have been Shazam. They would have been a different acronym for different heroes.
No, they're all Shazam. The word is Shazam. That is the magic word.
Okay.
And that's who he is drawing power from.
Okay. Oh, but
Mary, when Mary and Freddy say Shazam, Mary draws power from Selena, Hippolyta, Adrian, Zephyrus, Aurora, and Minerva.
Okay. Interesting.
And when Black Adam says Shazam, he is drawing power from Shu, Heru, Amon, Zeti, Aton, and Mihan.
Okay, I like that. The movie didn't need it. It would have made that way too convoluted. I'm fine that like in the movie
I don't
they just
think
shared the power
the movie
and everything.
doesn't do that.
So, but I really was asking from the history of this character standpoint, and I love that. I like that a lot. I really like that a lot.
Agree.
Yeah.
So they draw. So so Shazam is an incantation. It's essentially a spell that's drawing the powers from
those ancient heroes.
And in the Rock of Eternity, there are. So we saw the 7 sins.
Yeah.
There are also statues of the elders essentially that they are drawing their power from. So it's like there are remnants of their powers imbued into the statue. The Rock is the source of all magic in the DCEU.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yes.
It always comes back to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
So that's
great.
Really, really smart.
Would you have liked that more if they referred to the Rock of Eternity and then flashed it and it's just the Rock in a chair looking at his watch?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Much better movie.
I would have laughed.
No. But I do like that Shazam. It's a spell.
Yeah, I like that. So different, and again, not necessarily in this movie, but in the comic,
different elders.
So they will get different powers.
Yes.
That's
so
awesome.
Mary does not have the same powers as Billy.
I like that.
Black Adam does not have the same powers as Billy.
Yeah.
But the Wizard.
Yeah.
The Wizard is Shazam.
Yeah.
And the Wizard works as a conduit.
Yeah. I gotcha. I like it.
The Wizard's name is Shazam.
I like it a lot.
He is a construct that channels all of, and that's what the lightning, like the lightning is channeling.
I love it.
The power. Yeah.
I love it.
It's a great system.
Yeah. Very unique, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unlike any other system that we really have talked about.
I'm out of BQs, so any more are yours.
What the fuck is Shazam's superhero name? Because he can't say Shazam.
Yeah.
What is his name?
Legally, he cannot say it.
He can't say Captain Marvel. And in the universe, he also can't be like, oh, hi, I'm Shazam.
I'm Shazam, because he'll turn back into a kid.
He'll turn back into Billy.
Yeah.
What the fuck is his name?
Captain
it's a great Sparklefingers?
It's a great question.
What does Superman call him? The hero?
Again,
the heroes.
Superman should not have been in it.
No, they have. But even when they're talking about them in the news report, they just call them the 6 heroes, the 7 or 6, 7, 6.
There were 6 of them.
6 of them.
Yeah, you know what? This is a minor rant, but I mean, couldn't Mary's suit have been orange so that we would have had the 3 primary colors and the 3 secondary colors?
Sorry.
She doubled up with the red.
She doubled up on the red.
Doubled up on the red. Yeah. Orange wasn't represented, and my inner artist was going crazy.
I said that too.
Ugh. Anyway.
Or Mary is either traditionally been red or white.
Okay.
Which I also was saying, why didn't they just invert the motif and give her a white suit with a red cape?
Yeah. That would have been cool too. Still wouldn't need the orange.
I know.
Work.
But it would have been better than just doubling up on the red.
I agree.
In my opinion.
I agree. But guys, that's neither here nor there, and that is minor.
It's very minor.
Very, very minor. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to call him. I loved how in the movie they just made fun of it. They couldn't land on a name. They kept coming up with ridiculous names.
He needs a name.
The ad campaign for the movie used "My Name Is" from Eminem. I mean, like, a lot of this was like
his name's Captain Marvel.
Fine, we can't use it. Then
that's his name.
We're not coming up with a new name. Right. We're just going to make it a joke that you won't let us say his name.
And once again, like my nerd rage over this. Fuck you, Marvel. Just fuck you.
He says an hour before Endgame.
Yeah, like just fuck you.
Yeah,
that is with the history of knockoffs and copyright infringement, frankly.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
It is.
And fuck you, Stanley.
Disappointing. We should.
I mean, I know it's still very close.
Let's start the campaign. Captain Cookie Puss.
Sure. Captain Cookie Puss.
Guys, let's make that hashtag go viral. Right there.
Captain Cookie Puss.
Captain Cookie Puss. So, guys, that is. Oh, unless you have any other big questions.
No.
Yeah, that is our hot take on the Captain Marvel
double feature.
The
Captain Marvel movies.
The Captain Marvel movies that came out within a month of each other.
Yes.
I mean, we had to
And
we had to do them together.
And I'm just going to say, the amount of money a movie makes is meaningless.
That's why I can never.
It's
that's
just
why I can never get it
meaningless.
right, because it's way too.
It doesn't reflect anything in the quality of the movies at all.
No.
And great, Marvel's making lots of money. Disney's making lots of money, and I mean, I'm just gonna.
But look, they're spending a lot too.
They're spending so much they won't tell us, and I haven't really enjoyed one of these movies in like 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like, I had a hole I was bleeding from a hole in my foot when we saw Avengers.
Avengers, yeah.
I was in a lot of pain. We so much enjoyed that movie.
Yeah. Guys,
it was so much fun.
I got to cut Shades off here because if you want to hear more, you got to tune into the Patreon episode.
You got to tune into the Patreon episode.
It's the May Patreon special episode.
Okay. That brings us to Shades and Sketch recommendations. We've gotten very good at that.
Thank you. Good on my tongue.
You mind if I start?
Yeah, go for it.
I am going to recommend Justice League versus the Fatal Five, which is a JLU animated reunion of sorts.
Nice.
It reunites Bruce Timm, creative force and animation style of Bruce Timm with Kevin Conroy, Susan Eisenberg, and George Newbern, Batman, Wonder Man, and Superman, respectively, with a team of new heroes. And it's just really fun. It's great to see this animation style return and to hear these actors get to just play and have fun again. I will say that Flash and Jon Stewart and Martian Manhunter are noticeably missing.
Interesting.
I was really missing Jon Stewart and the Flash. Michael Rosenbaum voiced Flash. You might know him from Lex Luthor in Smallville. So maybe we'll get a sequel and they'll be in it. But it was still really fun. It's like an hour and 20 minutes.
And where can you find it?
You can find it streaming just about everywhere. The DC app, the service, whatever.
DC Universe.
DC Universe has it. If you have that, you can watch it for free with your plan. You can watch it on Amazon. I think it's soon to be on Hulu. After a certain amount of time. They've been airing a lot of the animated movies there. And it's worth renting through Amazon. And if you have the DC app, it's the service rather, DC Universe, it's certainly worth viewing.
Very cool.
It was very fun.
The name one more time for our long-time listeners?
Justice League versus the Fatal Five. Not a great name, but a fun movie.
Awesome.
Yep.
I am going to recommend something that I'm glad I'm getting to recommend it. I was afraid you were going to take it from me.
Okay.
Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh, I knew you were gonna.
Oh my god,
so good.
Show. It's a
writing.
Netflix specific, so it's if you have Netflix. I had no idea it was coming. It just popped up on my Netflix one day, like, hey, do you want to watch this? And I was like, okay, I'll give it a look. It is a series of I think 16 individual stories, heavy sci-fi stories.
Yes. It's an anthology series.
Ranging from very serious and dark and psychologically thrilling to just fun and comical.
Yeah.
You're going to love some of them. You won't like others. But they are
laugh, be repulsed, be entertained, be mystified.
They are so there's no like synopsis I can give you because each quote unquote episode is a different short story.
It's a different universe.
Yep, different universe, different set of rules.
It is
different animation styles.
Yes.
It's really just a showcase of like different animation studios, different storytelling devices.
Around the themes of love, death, and robots.
Exactly. And it's marvelous. My favorite one was the Three Robots one. I thought that was endearing, but also kind of macabre.
Yes.
I really like the one with the farmers. I don't remember the name of it.
That was perfect.
And there's the one with the ship, too.
Ship.
Yeah, the pilot who takes the cursed ship.
Lucky 13. Lucky 13. Oh,
that's a really good one too. But you watched the collection, and you might have the same ones that you love. You might have completely different.
Those were my three favorites.
Yeah, they're really good, really, really high quality.
Yeah, I will second that.
Amazingly high quality.
I will second that recommendation.
So, Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix.
Sketch, you going to take anything from this double feature?
Well, I would like to take, which I think you'll veto, Goose, because I'm afraid, based on what we've seen, Goose doesn't have a home, even though
I don't know how I feel about bringing Goose on board the
Okay,
GOCO.
long-time listeners, I'm going to sneak him on. But I will tell you that
Can
instead...
you keep him firmly locked in your menagerie?
Sure.
No take-backsies?
No take-backsies.
I don't think this is going to end well.
I'm also going to take, just to help fund us, just a handful of these Shazam face bullets. 'Cause I think they're going to go for a pretty penny on the old interwebs.
Well, I think that was a wise decision, Sketch. I am going to take this replica batarang.
Oh.
It's very useful.
Yeah.
Very useful.
Should have guessed that was going to be what you took. Do you want anything from Captain Marvel?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm all set.
Okay. That's fair. We'll have Goose. Who knows what's in his gut?
Yeah, I don't...
He might be kicking up something soon for us to enjoy.
All right.
So, guys, if you enjoyed the episode, see how I brought it back to
Yes, good job.
Thanks. Write into us at gowithshadesandsketch@gmail.com. We asked you some questions, some feedback, some clarifications.
Yeah.
If you disagree with some of our assessments, let us know.
Yeah, you can also tweet us at GoWithShadesAndSketch. Or you can reach out to Sketch individually at Go4Sketch.
Or Shades individually at Go for Shades.
You can find us on the Facebook.
Yeah. Just search.
You know how to
Geeking
find
Out.
us. Well, yeah, we pop up.
Sketch, yeah. And, we got our Patreon.
Our Patreon. Patreon.com/ShadesAndSketch. And we are about to populate that with a lot of new Patreon exclusives that we encourage you to take advantage of. And guys, a couple of people have asked, just to clarify again, we are looking to make the cost of this show neutral.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah.
And if you look at our funding goals, I think it is reflected there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not asking for a lot.
My Egyptology career was kind of taking a nosedive, but I'll tell you, our mummy episode, it brought me back up. I am making that sweet, sweet Egyptology money now.
Really?
Yeah.
I am surprised.
Yeah. They love my work.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I think they just need a poster boy.
All right, Sketch, we got a movie to catch.
We do.
Slam the old GOCO
into overdrive. And guys, we
get us there.
will
We're running out of time to make our show.
We will see you.
See you next time.